Isn't this a wonderful night? There are so many artists here. Over 60 artists have been included in this exhibition, and most of these artists have come and traveled from across the state of Montana to be here this evening. And I'd like to turn this over to the Mayor of Missoula. My great honor and distinct pleasure, the Honorable John Engen.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Always a pleasure to spend a little time here at the MAM. What a lovely facility and a treasure, a community asset, and a great place to gather and have a party. So it's nice to see you all this evening. As Steve suggested in the newspaper, if you're flying over Missoula, Missoula is a flyover. But if you live in the state of Montana and you have a cultural instinct, this is the center of the universe, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm happy to have you all here to enjoy the place and the people, and I'd like to welcome all of the many artists, 60 some all told, exhibiting many pieces here during this jury triennial. It's really a privilege to have you all here and to be able to show this community your fantastic work. So thank you, and thanks again to our good friends here at the MAM. I have a proclamation which mayors often do because we're windbags, and I will read it now. There are a number of whereases, and don't get nervous because at the end there's a now therefore, and that makes it all better, folks. So whereas the Missoula Art Museum's first Montana Triennial Juried Exhibition from June 26th to September 24th will feature the artwork of emerging and established professional artists living and working in the state of Montana. And whereas biennials and triennials around the world function as juried survey exhibitions of contemporary art that represent the cutting-edge art created in a particular region. And whereas Montana and its cultural institutions have never attempted to host such an all-encompassing exhibition before, but the MAM staff feels uniquely positioned to host this significant regional survey within their new galleries. And whereas MAM's Montana Triennial will consist of 88 works created by 60 artists and will represent a full range of media, style, and theme. And whereas in honor of the exhibition, MAM will publish a full-color documentary catalog featuring the exhibiting artists, their work, and an interpretive essay by juror Beth Sellers. And whereas Missoula Art Museum's 2009 Montana Triennial project is generously supported with grants from the Montana Cultural Trust, now therefore I, John Engen, Mayor of the City of Missoula and the State of Montana, do hereby proclaim June 26, 2009 as Missoula Art Museum's 2009 Montana Triennial Day in Missoula, Montana, ladies and gentlemen.
What would you like me to say?
Oh, anything that comes to your mind.
Oh, well, we just walked into the museum and it was the first thing that caught our attention was the door piece with the eyeglasses, and there's a movie showing in one of the glass pieces. It's very neat.
I'm attracted to it because it's a really intimate use of a moving image. It's like projected on a pair of eyeglasses in a way that's pretty unobtrusive. There might be a soundtrack, but there's a really loud band, so I don't know if there's a soundtrack if it says anything. But the images are really, really cool, but I'm really struck with the integration of video and sculpture in what seems to be really a successful way.
I just think it looks like it took a phenomenal amount of work to put this together, and I can't imagine it being in its million little pieces and then having to all be put together on site here. It just drives me wild. And I like it from the other side also, because it seems like all the pieces that don't have glaze on this side all do on the other side. It's pretty cool.
I would love that in my house. it would fit perfectly. It's just, I don't know how it was done, but it's a wonderful display of artistry with ceramic and detail and color. It's very unique. And they are wonderful. They just are intriguing, and all the colorful combinations she has uses, the intricate work, and the faces, they could almost talk to you. The means justify the ends. If you look at his face, it is telling its own story. Well, there's some glitter, and then there's some actual painting itself on the shirt and the pants. Looks like it has some enamel in it. And then you go over here to Independence Day, and there's actually mosaic glass that is the background up here.
Very clever.
It's very impressive. Just wow. Very nice.
From a distance, it just looked like an oil painting. But if you get up really close, particularly in this one on the wall, it's a mosaic. It's enameled art glass mosaic. And I was just reading what the medium was, and I didn't have any idea how intricate the work is, with the mosaic being right in with the painting. And I really think and I love the expression on this guy's face. He just looks like he's listening with a lot of skepticism, and the colors are great, the chair and the wallpaper. So I guess those are my favorites. I like the medium because it's kind of deceptive to begin with, but if you get up close, you see how the pieces are all inlaid.
Well, I especially like Independence Day and the detail as an antiques dealer, and I've dealt in Native American art for many years. The work on the mocks is incredible. The beadwork on the headdress is just excellent. They're moving. It has a message, and probably much deeper than I'm seeing on the surface. But the attention to the faces too. Again, on the means justify the ends. That face just says it all. They're wonderful pieces. Great work.
I don't know. I found the pieces very pleasant to look at, but they were challenging. They weren't overly obvious, but I think they were very creatively executed. You wonder about their meaning and both how the technique is also carried out to achieve a very emotional response from the viewer.
I guess one thing I like about them is they don't know quite what to make of them first. What they're saying, they seem sort of cosmological, but very mundane at the same time. And these look like celestial bodies in one way, and then they look like chopped up drug capsules or something in another way. I don't know. It's bringing the common into sort of a cosmological dimension. That's what I like about these.
It's pretty hard to determine how the title relates to the piece. I think there's a real uncertainty about how the work is done, how it's titled, but it's got a real random order to it that I think is really pretty beautiful and striking, strong. The materials are, you don't really know what they are, and they look pretty rough. And random. His day job is managing a printing company, and the materials he uses are from that printing company, and they're all materials that he deals with every day in his everyday life. And he sees the artistic quality and kind of a creative use of an everyday object. I think that really gives it a lot of credibility, and it's an abstract piece that it's like looking inside of John Lodge's brain.
This piece is very interesting because in the lower left corner there's a Waterford champagne glass that one wonders, is it the artist's or is it Christina who is cutting Leo's hair? And then he has his beer in front of him and maybe more in that can on the lower right, and they may have just finished some Jell-O, and one wonders if Christina is his wife, his younger wife, or his daughter or daughter-in-law. And then Leo's kind of staring at us, wondering if he really wants his haircut. So it's just kind of an interesting painting for a number of reasons, including the Last Supper over Christina's head, the painting of the Last Supper.
This is a beautiful shawl woven in bamboo and tencel fiber, and I just think it's wonderful that a beautiful textile like this has been included in this art show.
Well, it's Haddon Hufford's work. It's a 9-sided coffee pot and also a coffer with a domed lid. I think they're beautiful. And it's wonderful to come here and watch people look at it and admire it.
The coffee pot over there, it's the coolest coffee pot ever. I just wish I had it. It's so Art Deco and so shiny.
I just like the copper wire that she used. It's kind of industrial, but it's also really pretty. And I like the hoist, kind of the old-fashioned mechanical hoist with kind of a new age dress, the kind of the juxtaposition of.
Well, I like about all the body pieces are all in the sand and they're all split up.
Displacement 1 and 2 just speak to me in particular about the bond that women share and the strength that they find in one another and the land.
Okay, this piece is just absolutely the form. It's all about the form and the materials and the use of the materials and the infinite variables running through the system. So it's very industrial. It's made by machines. It's got steel and it's cut precisely. But then it emerges with organic fiber, which is newsprint, and each part of the newsprint interfaces then with other modules or frameworks or maybe grids that are. I think this newsprint has been pre-printed, so every slice has the variable that interfaces with the variable of the images that are on this two-dimensional surface. So it's thousands of these thin, 3/1000ths of an inch thick paper newsprint, I think it's about 3/1000ths of an inch, that are then compressed using encaustic, I think is the term, and then they're compressed into this module that has this system of variables throughout the whole piece. So they combine, they work individually as a section of each piece, and also as a whole, building throughout the whole system. So it's very tight and controlled. Yet also it's very random at the same time.
I like this piece because it captures the moment of people's interaction and
I like the way the child is sitting on the truck right in front of the headdress that's on the truck. It's very interesting.
But I love the neon. I should have known it was his. I should have known. It's the only neon worker I know, and he's just stupendous. He is.
William from Bozeman and his neon work, I think it's very innovative how he assembled it. I was trying to figure out if it was all one piece or if it was something that he could take apart, and I'm not sure what he does for each show, if he takes them apart or if it's actually permanently pieced together. But that's what I liked about it, was trying to figure that out. I kind of think it has to be all one piece, but I'm trying to figure it out. But that's what I like about it. This piece is that it actually makes you think about how did he assemble it? Does he have to take it apart, or is it permanently fixed together?
It's a realistic landscape, but it is so not realistic, so flattened, so stylized, so handsome. And as a painter, that's one of the ones I like best in here too.
So I've known Laura for many, many years, and I've seen her work just grow and evolve. She's a very skilled painter who I think does a lot of things sort of on site with her sketches, and then works on them in her studio. And I've always appreciated her ability to do such a beautiful job with color, and then her texture just jumps right out at you. It's very almost 3D-ish, and I just love her strokes and her color choices. And I think the moods of her paintings are also very calm, and they really do depict Montana, which I think is really important, especially for an exhibit like this. I'm really glad they chose this piece.
I think Laura has captured the Bitterroot Valley and what we see in the Bitterroot Valley in just a wonderful, it's a very impasto painting that just, the movement of the paint on that canvas just invites you to look at that scene.
Photographs of snow, and I love all the textures. You know, some you can tell are very hard and crusty and wind-blown. And so you see that snow has many different colors and many different textures. And so I think visually this is a very stimulating piece. You'd never get tired of it if it was in a room in your house. And I love how he framed it in kind of the grid pattern with a mat there. So my imagination comes to this, and I see mountains, and I see desert, and I see ocean, and I see lake, and I see river. And that's what I love about contemporary art, is that it's what you bring to it, what you see. And each day, my mood or my experience plays into what I see in it.
We just thought it was that we hadn't noticed, you know, outside when we have snow, how different snow can be, and that there are lots of different patterns. That was very interesting.
Captures your eye because it's about something that you would see every day in the winter, but you wouldn't necessarily notice. And so, like, seeing it on the wall in a different setting just kind of captures your imagination.
I like the historical Montana photos of what was, and this is, I think, a great depiction of ranch and old, if you want to call it urban, of Montana. And although we're in the 21st century, this is not that far. It's not that long ago, and it's what was and what we hold dear. I like it. I'm sorry.
I find this piece very strong. Jumps right off the wall. You can see it across the room, and the colors are incredible.
Yeah, this piece is interesting because there's a lot of different details in it, and it has tight detail in the lower section, but then it kind of becomes freer in the upper section of the composition. It's very interesting.
This is one of my favorites because just the art of quilting is not, I don't know, I just really like it when people take craft or what would be considered craft and turn it into art, and it's considered art and ends up on a wall. I don't know what just the colors and the combination with the animal drawings and the seams in it, it's just really powerful to me. And it really kind of sets me back, and I can't think of the word. It just, it empowers me to want to create. That's what this is just inspiring. Mm-hmm. Inspiring is the word.
And it's a brakeman climbing up into the railroad car, and he's fixing or doing something with the railroad car. It's got really good sense of wet weather in an oil painting, and it has really good compositional structure. Nice painting.
David Swanson's painting is beautiful, especially when you step back from it. You can really see the beauty of it.
I love the whole 3D effect of it, but I love the deer's head and I love the eyes with the shape coming out of the bottom, and I still really don't know what to make of it, but the shapes with the deer coming out and the eyes really just sucks me in. Even though he's coming out at me, it's pulling me in the whole piece, and I just end up following it all the way around and then right back to the deer's eyes.
I find the piece by Marianne Bongiorni to be an example of what I felt this show should be all about. That is, they build the show as a show of cutting-edge work throughout the state of Montana. And Marianne's piece here with a mounted deer head and added texture and a part of a landscape and some other shapes, including a couple of hands up above and some abstract shapes, fits in with the theme of the show. And I find Marianne's a significant Missoula artist, so I think this is a nice piece.